Good morning and welcome. Come and take a seat. There are plenty. We're having a few technical issues with our live streaming, all that modern technology that's supposed to work so wonderfully, but we're going to plow on because we have a very exciting opportunity to tell you about, to share with you an announcement this morning that I know that the Albuquerque, New Mexico area is going to be thrilled to hear about. I'm Diane Anderson. I want to thank you for coming to our news conference this morning. We have asked you here to make that announcement. Battelle, Boeing, our University of New Mexico, with the Texas Research Education Partnership, which is led by Texas A&M University System, along with the University of Texas System, have all teamed up to compete for the management and the operation contract for Sandia National Laboratories. So here today, representing what we are calling Together Sandia, are Dr. Jeffrey Wadsworth with Battelle. He is the President and Chief Executive Officer of Battelle. Tim Noonan, Vice President of Training Systems and Government Services for Boeing. Dr. Robert Frank, the President of the University of New Mexico. And John Sharp, Chancellor of the Texas A&M University System. So they're each going to come up and talk, and then you'll have an opportunity to ask them each some questions once we are done hearing what they have to say. So would you please welcome Dr. Wadsworth.
Well, thank you, Diane, and good morning, everybody. It's a very great pleasure to be here, and we very much appreciate the University of New Mexico hosting this event. We're very excited about our team and the future of Sandia National Laboratories. As you know, Sandia Labs are a terrific national resource. They fulfill critical missions for the Department of Energy's National Nuclear Security Administration. Sandia is not only important to NNSA, but also to New Mexico and to Albuquerque. And as Diane noted, Battelle and Boeing are teamed with the University of New Mexico, the Texas A&M University System, as the contractor to compete for the Sandia management contract. This is a powerful team of the right complementary capabilities and experiences. We also have a terrific slate of experienced people for the management team. We look forward to partnering with NNSA, with the state of New Mexico, and the communities involved with Sandia to take an already excellent enterprise to even greater heights. Let me talk to you briefly about Battelle. We're the world's largest independent, nonprofit research and development organization. We opened for business in 1929. Part of the Manhattan Project. We built the first civilian nuclear reactor in this country, designed the fuel for the Nautilus submarine systems, invented the Xerox machine, and I'm up to about 1974. A lot happened after that. Cruise control for your cars, the Universal Product Code, and a host of other inventions spanning national security through medical devices. In addition to our corporate R&D business in Columbus, Ohio, Battelle has a substantial management role at 6 Department of Energy national labs and a Department of Homeland Security national lab. Taken collectively, we're responsible for the execution of over $5 billion in research and development on an annual basis, and our work spans national security, energy, environment, and health. In all of those areas, we emphasize a strong underpinning on science for the future. In addition to taking great pride in delivering on the mission of our laboratories, which has been recognized by the very strong performance from DOE, we take equal pride in being a great partner in the communities in which we work and live. So, for example, we invest heavily in STEM education, in technology transfer, in economic development. All of those are important for a thriving community. Furthermore, developing the workforce of the future is absolutely essential. A very competitive world we're in. Everyone wants to be like the United States, and we need to train the workforce that can compete in that future. We start that work on the workforce of the future in our communities and the states where we reside and with our university partners. Our purpose is to do work that is for societal good and to take some of the money we make and reinvest it in the future and in our communities. As you will hear from other members of our team, we are ideally positioned to manage Sandia and to be a great partner. I just have to say that we've been interested in Sandia, and I was reminded of that even just outside the door a few minutes ago, since the late 1980s, when the competition was held for the Sandia Lab. We believe that this team is a perfect match for Sandia. We believe the Sandia DNA and this team DNA are very closely linked. We have the same values, we have the same desire to do great work that gets application, that finds expression in societal good and in the defense of our nation. We're looking forward to the competition, we're looking forward to winning it, we're looking forward to having a permanent presence here. My pleasure to now introduce you to a friend and colleague of the Boeing Company, Tim Noonan, who's Vice President, Training Systems and Government Services.
Thank you, Jeff, and good morning, Dr. Frank. Thanks for hosting us here today. It's a pleasure to be here with the Together Sandia team with Battelle and our university partners. I'd like to talk a little bit about the Boeing Company and then talk a little bit about our team. The Boeing Company is a global industrial champion. We'll celebrate 100 years of serving our nation this summer. We've been in service to our nation for 75 years at least. And in World War II, we helped develop the B-29 Stratofortress. 50 years ago, the Minuteman ICBM program, Boeing was there as the systems integrator, and 25 years ago we served and delivered our 1,000th F/A-18 Hornet. Today we're answering the call to serve with our lab partners to become the management and operations partner for Sandia National Laboratories. We're the world's largest aerospace company and manufacturer of commercial jets and defense, space, and security products. We're a trusted partner in providing capabilities in nonproliferation, cyber and energy security, defense and homeland security, and have proven an exceptional service to our nation. Boeing's workforce is 160,000 people strong across the nation and in 65 countries, one of the most diverse, innovative, and dynamic workforces on the planet. Our enterprise is also a network of hundreds of thousands of people in our supply base, in our communities, established relationships and business partnerships that help us achieve our long-term goals. We have research, design, and technology development centers around the world and have managed $17 billion of research and development since 2001. We have partnered in the communities. In 2015 alone, we contributed more than $190 million in the communities in which we serve. As you can see, with a company with Boeing's depth and breadth, we have to align all of our interests, all of our stakeholder interests. Your concerns are our concerns. Communities, employees, suppliers, state and local government representatives. We're listening. Because what we do matters. Lives depend on what we do, and it demands a sense of integrity, humility, and service. And working with our partners, we're going to bring that same focus to managing Sandia National Laboratories. And we know we can't do it alone, which is why we partner with Battelle and our university partners. Collectively, we're an advanced science and aerospace technology team that brings together a wealth of knowledge and experience. We know how to manage large-scale enterprise. We leverage innovation in everything that we do, but most importantly, our core values are integrity and transparency. It's the foundation of what has made us a trusted partner, and it's what we'll bring to Sandia National Laboratories, DOE, and NNSA. As individuals and organizations, we're all called to serve differently at different times. And at Boeing, we see this as an opportunity, this opportunity as a call to service. Service means putting others first, and we understand that. And in this case, it's nation first. With that, I'd like to introduce my esteemed colleague and friend, Bob Frank. Thanks for hosting us.
Thanks, Tim. It's a real pleasure to be here today. Not many research universities have a national lab as their neighbor. The University of New Mexico, the state's flagship university, and Sandia Laboratories, the nation's largest national lab, have a long, rich working relationship based on shared real estate and shared research. Together, Sandia matches the very fabric of UNM, who we are and what we do here in New Mexico. Since the day I became president of the University of New Mexico 4 years ago, I've recognized, and many of our faculty had already recognized, the value of our national labs. The value of their partnering closely with us has been a major goal for us. When I was appointed president of the University of New Mexico, there were about 4 months before I came to actually work here every day. I called Jeff Bingaman, who I'd had the pleasure of working with previously as a Robert Wood Johnson Health Policy Fellow, and I asked Jeff, if you were in my position about to become president, what are a few of the things you would do? And Jeff said, well, if I were you, I would go and take a look at Oak Ridge National Labs. He said, their relationship is one that I think we could emulate better at Sandia than we have. So shortly after I became president, I put together a team and took them to Oak Ridge. It turned out that going to Oak Ridge was a fairly easy activity, as the president of the University of Tennessee is one of my best friends. We were deans together at Florida. So we went to Oak Ridge, and it was there that I really began to recognize in great detail the value of a partnership between a great research university and a great lab manager, which ironically was Battelle. And we did a review there, and we came back and we had a blueprint right then about what we wanted to do if and when Sandia's bid ever came open. Shortly thereafter, we asked Dean Joe Checky to take a role in the provost's office as our leader for national lab relations, and Joe has proved to be fantastic in that role. He has led us to connect to every single potential partner that we might have, and over these ensuing years, we've met with every partner, we've talked to them, we've done an incredible amount of due diligence. And that has led us to believe that the people that we're standing with here today, and the University of Texas, who's not here today, is what we might have called back in 1992 at the Barcelona Olympics, the Dream Team. We think we have partnered with a team that is truly extraordinary and has created a fantastic opportunity for our university to do great things, and we believe these folks do great things. So we're thrilled to be part of this team, and we believe it's great for the state of New Mexico. So the University of New Mexico has strong relationships with Sandia across many disciplines that date back 30 years, and many of you in this room are aware of the many collaborations we have. Currently, we share 3 joint professors that go back and forth that have appointments at Sandia and appointments at the University of New Mexico, and we're actually in conversations with as many as 2 more, I believe, Joe. And we hope those go forward no matter how this turns out, but if this turns out the way we would like, we would love to increase those numbers, and we would hope to have more at A&M and at UT, because we believe these kinds of shared professorships are extremely valuable, and we know that Battelle has done that at the University of Tennessee and at some of their other sites. We also share a lab with them, the Advanced Materials Lab, which has been very successful, and in advanced materials and photonics, the University of New Mexico has a distinct advantage over almost every other research university in the country. So it shows that there are great opportunities here. We share a commitment to the community and the state, and those are things that we've worked to build for 3 decades here. We're aligned in proximity. We're aligned in many of our missions. Now, the University of New Mexico is also aligned in workforce with Sandia. About 2,400 UNM graduates work at Sandia today. Currently, about 400 of our students are doing internships there. So we are a workforce provider. Of course, there's room for great growth. We'd love to see A&M students there. We'd love to see UT students there. We'd love to see Sandia grow to be even greater. Now, UNM and Sandia have about 170 joint patents. We'd like to see that number grow. One of the problems with the national labs that they've been frequently criticized for is that intellectual property is difficulties leaving the national labs. There are a lot of great ideas that get stuck there that don't come out, just like used to happen at research universities back in the 70s before Bayh-Dole happened. But we would like to see more of that change, and that's part of the strategy that we think we can help in this proposal we're about to write. Even though there are problems getting startups up, we've done 7 with Sandia over the years. 4 years ago, we made a commitment to embrace entrepreneurship at this university, and we've worked very hard to move intellectual property out of our university, and I'm proud to say that this year we have 11 startups, thanks to Lisa Kudala. Where's Lisa? Where's Lisa? Lisa, stand up, be recognized. Lisa's one of our true stars. Because of her, we move startups out at a very good rate for a university of our size. We'd like to move more, and we think this partnership will help us do more. We created Innovate ABQ, a research district, which is downtown. If this partnership takes off, we'd like to have a building there that we share with this partnership that we think could grow even more more innovation, more startups, more jobs that stay in New Mexico, and create more knowledge jobs. Knowledge jobs create other jobs at a 5-to-1 ratio. So for every knowledge job, 5 other jobs grow. And we think that's a fantastic thing. Now, a few years ago, 2 years ago to be exact, the city of Albuquerque was recognized by Living Cities, an Uber foundation that's about creating jobs around America. They picked 3 cities, I believe, and Living Cities has picked Albuquerque for because of Innovate, and they picked us for economic development, the only city they've ever picked for economic development. And there were 3 or 4 areas they focused on. One was knowledge jobs, one was Main Street, which is diners, restaurants, those types of things, and others micro enterprises, small jobs that people create. We believe that with this partnership, we can partner with Living Cities to grow jobs here in New Mexico, a very important type of proposal, one that is in the RFP, and this is a natural partnership for us to grow and make thrive here. So we think this partnership is just a natural in so many ways. UNM is the local glue that will bring this partnership to the community, and we're very pleased to serve that role because we believe what is good for Sandia is good for New Mexico, and what is good for UNM is good for New Mexico. So, partnering with Battelle, Boeing, and the prestigious Texas Systems is a fantastic opportunity. We're thrilled to be part of it. We're proud of what is happening here, and we believe this is a fantastic opportunity for all of us. And we're very, very pleased to be here, and it's my true honor to introduce Chancellor John Sharp of Texas A&M.
Thank you, Dr. Frank, and thank you for your hospitality here today and for all that you've done to make this possible. I'd like to start by acknowledging our Vice Chancellor for Engineering and our Dean of Engineering at Texas A&M University, Dr. Kathy Banks, who began this process almost 5 years ago, and thank you for all the work that you've done, Dr. Banks. The Texas A&M University system is proud to be part of this historic day, to be standing alongside such outstanding partners in this noble effort to safeguard our nation. It has been a long journey to this point. As I said, for almost 5 years, the Texas A&M system has nurtured the idea of answering the call to serve our nation by helping to manage one of the country's greatest assets, the Sandia National Laboratories. There were a few false starts early on along the way as we searched for the best partners possible, but the team you see here today really started at a dinner in College Station on November 12, 2012. Ron Townsend with Battelle sat down with Vice Chancellor Kathy Banks and A&M system leaders, and after that dinner, we knew we had begun to find the right partners. With Boeing, one of the great companies of America, the great University of Texas system, and the great University of New Mexico joining us last year, the ideal team was created. Team chemistry is the right mixture of talent, dedication, and sacrifice for the common good. Or as Babe Ruth said, you may have the greatest bunch of individual stars in the world, but if they don't play together, the club won't be worth a dime. This club has great individual stars in their respective fields, but we also know how to play together, thus the name Together Sandia. I would be remiss if I didn't thank someone who couldn't be here today, and that's Texas Governor Greg Abbott, whose astute leadership assured that this day would be possible. We at the Texas A&M University System are extremely pleased that the University of Texas system and the University of New Mexico system are a part of this integral team. In the Texas A&M and University of Texas systems, you have two of the largest, most prestigious university systems in the country with the expertise and resources necessary at Sandia, as you do with the University of New Mexico and its deep ties to Sandia. And with these, I believe we bring an academic prowess that no one in this country can match. Together with Battelle and Boeing, our nation's defense will be in good hands. I'm sure I'll be asked why the Texas A&M system was so intent on pursuing the management contract for the Sandia National Laboratories for almost 5 years. Yes, joining together Sandia team will provide tremendous opportunities to create new partnerships and expand existing ones. Yes, it will increase our research and educational opportunities, and yes, we want to be at the forefront of preparing the scientific and engineering workforce of the future, but most of all, it is about service to our country, to ensure that our nation's defense is second to none. Since the creation of Texas A&M as a land-grant institution in 1876, service to our country has been at the core of our mission. It is not simply that Texas A&M is the largest research university in the southwestern United States, but for example, today the Texas A&M commissions more military officers than anyone outside of our military academies year after year. The list goes on. So when I'm asked why would the Texas A&M system pursue this goal, my simple reply is, why would we not? Thank you.
So as you can see, and as each of these people have said, we feel we have the perfect team, a preeminent lab management company, a paramount defense contractor, and universities with premier engineering departments. Together, Sandia, the ideal combination to take an already outstanding national laboratory to a higher level of excellence. So now we'd like to open up this for your questions. There's a microphone up here, so if you'll please come up to the mic, identify yourself and what organization you're with, and we'll direct your questions from up here.
Hello? Okay. So Kevin Robinson with the Albuquerque Journal. What, from your viewpoint, distinguishes this partnership to bid on the contract from the others that are out there, particularly Lockheed, which has managed the lab for 20 years and obviously will bid again, and others? What distinguishes you guys from others?
Jeff?
First of all, we don't know who the other teams are, and we're quite frankly less interested in that than in creating the kind of team that we think is the best based on all of our experiences. Putting together, we have learned, Ron Townsend here, who runs all of our laboratories, we have learned over time that the combination of Battelle with a great industry partner plus key universities is a winning combination that can raise the profile and the output and the quality of work of the labs we run. So that's really where we're focused, is on us and what we can put together to bring best possible management practices to the very important Sandia National Laboratories, which we hold in very high regard.
And would you like to add?
The only thing I would add is that, you know, what you're getting with together Sandia is more than any one enterprise. Getting lab management from Battelle, systems integration and engineering expertise from the Boeing company, and incredible academic reach back from our university partners. So collectively, yeah, that team, our team is incredibly strong. Plus the hundreds of years of managing large-scale enterprises, leadership, supply-based community, small business, getting the collective knowledge of not one, but five very strong.
Kevin, did you have any other follow-ups, or?
Apologize, but I do.
There's nobody behind you yet, so I'll let you know.
Battelle manages 6 national labs at this point, contracts at 6 national labs?
Yeah, but Battelle manages 6 DOE national laboratories and one Security National Laboratory. Pacific Northwest National Lab, a part of Livermore National Lab, the National Renewable Energy Lab, the Idaho National Lab, the Oak Ridge National Lab, and Brookhaven National Lab.
Question is for you, President Frank. You talked to some extent about how this is a good thing for us here in New Mexico to be part of this team and to bid on this contract and more closely aligned with Sandia. Can you elaborate a bit more on some of the concrete things you would hope to come out of the partnership that would benefit UNM and benefit the local community more so than we're already benefiting from the partnerships that we have with Lockheed Martin?
Well, I think there's many good things that'll come from this. The Sandia is a great lab, and it's brought many great things to New Mexico, but I think one of the criticisms that's been leveled at Sandia as it now functions is that perhaps it's not New Mexico-centric as much as we might like to see it happen. It's our intention in our conversations with our partners that it would become more New Mexico-centric, and hence the discussions about the small business portion of it, one. Two, the conversations about increasing the number of faculty that we would share. Three, the ideas that we can increase some of the startups here in New Mexico that would grow New Mexico. Our idea here at UNM for a number of years could be that it's great to try and attract businesses to New Mexico, but many people don't understand New Mexico, and so attracting businesses here is a little bit complicated when you don't understand New Mexico and its culture. The people that are here, by and large, love New Mexico and don't want to leave, so if we can take people that are starting businesses here, keep them, and grow our businesses here, we're going to be more successful. So as we get this intellectual property that heretofore in the labs has not come out across the boundary, so to speak, and grow it and keep it, we're going to be more successful. Now, some of this may go to Texas. That's okay with us because there's a lot of pie here. These are huge pies we're going to grow because there's so much richness here. And but Sandia is an incredible opportunity, and we can grow a lot more businesses here. And we think this is a huge, huge pie that nobody's cut any of the slices on. So there's a magnificent, huge, big, big, big opportunity here, and we want to start cutting this pie up. So this is a big deal for us.
Joe's behind you, but you can ask one more. Okay, you can get back in line, Kevin.
Joseph Lynch with KOB TV. How often do the opportunities
competitions?
come available? Obviously.
Jeff, you want to start off?
How often do these competitions come up? The answer is very varied, because the contracts that are awarded often have the possibilities of extensions or award terms, and so it varies. Coming up less than 10 years is unusual, but certainly they can go on much longer than that. So it's quite a varied answer. In terms of who's competing with us, we don't know. The RFP only just came out, teams are forming, and we'll find out in due course. There is a schedule set out for when we have to submit an RFP. DOE or NNSA then gets to judge all of that. But I would guess it's more months than years that we'll find out. And maybe Ron has a specific, maybe can help me a bit with the timing that's planned. Should be the end of this year. But, you know, we understand how delays can happen as well. Thank you for the question.
Chris Quintana with the Albuquerque Journal. President Frank, this question is for you. How does this deal and this partnership tie into the wider goal to educate the
Well, it's fantastic for the citizens of New Mexico. We're partnering with what we consider to be the most prestigious firms in the country and the most prestigious educational systems in the country to make Sandia, which is already one of the most prestigious labs, so it's going to create opportunity upon opportunity. We already have 400 of our students interning up there, 2,400 of our of our graduates go there. Sandia will prosper out of this. As I said before, we hope to create more knowledge jobs, more Main Street jobs, more micro-enterprise jobs. New Mexico grows jobs. New Mexico prospers. University of New Mexico gets to hang around with really great partners. This is a huge win for everybody. So this is great for our students, great for our faculty, great for New Mexico. It's a magnificent opportunity.
John, you haven't had a chance to say something. Can you tell us a little bit about the Texas research team and what you bring to the table with the combination of your two university systems teaming up with UNM and these other partners?
The two universities, not only in nuclear engineering, are among the tops in the nation. Texas A&M, depending on the year, is ranked first or second nationally in nuclear engineering. The University of Texas Engineering is top 10 in the nation overall. But aside from that, there are lots of other things. I mean, Texas A&M, as I mentioned, is the largest research university between the two coasts. We have all kinds of research. But with all of that, I have to say that our Board of Regents instructs us to find places to serve. And what this is to us, yes, we're going to have great collaboration between our faculty of New Mexico and Sandia, the researchers. It's going to obviously add to the researchers of all the institutions involved. But at the end of the day, to us, it is about service to the country. It is about fulfilling the DNA that is part of the reason we're created. And that's why we want to take this opportunity to be with these great partners.
Hey, Kevin, you're up again. Mr. Curious.
While it's very clear, I think, from everything that you've said, the benefits and potential things that could be done by if you win this contract, you do hit up against or bump up against certain parameters by managing a federal contract this way that may impede certain things. So what am I talking about and what am I asking? Technology transfer, that's one of the big areas that you've been talking about, as well as directing more of the funds that are available for suppliers and companies that work with the labs to local companies. But a lot of that work has to go out of state on the one hand. And some of the federal contracts that work with other labs, a lot of funding for local businesses actually went down the year before last because more of the work was being done in cooperation with other labs. So how do you deal with what already are federal parameters that may impede some of that additional effort to get local money here? And two, and more important, technology transfer. It's a whole cultural phenomenon that has impeded or permeated the entire DOE lab system that's been hard to crack open. And I'm wondering, what could you do differently to crack that system open more to allow more of the kind of technology transfer you're talking about seeing?
President Frank, would you start off with that by talking about how a university can help mainstream that transfer?
Excellent, knowledgeable question on your behalf, Kevin. I wish you weren't quite so bright on this issue because it's a hard question. You're right, there are very few incentives in the current system to do that, and we'll have to work with our partnerships to try and break this open. And I think it's going to take federal collaboration. We've already worked with Senator Udall and Senator Heinrich, and one of the elegant parts of this partnership, of course, is now we can work with our colleagues in Texas to create better incentives at the federal level, of course, across our lab management partners as well, to create different incentives. But I think with management, when you have management power, you can create incentives that are different. And one of the things that's at the labs that I don't think have been exploited very successfully is lab employees have the opportunity to take sabbaticals, to step out and start small businesses. And I probably should be letting my colleagues to the right speak about this because they manage many more labs than I've ever managed in my life. I manage a university, and I'm going to let them speak in a moment. But there is a provision that lets federal employees take a step out to actually do small startups. And I think if we create a culture that encourages that, we would see more of that happening. So I think there are ways that have not been incentivized, encouraged, whatever kind of jargon we want to use. So I'm going to stop here and encourage my colleagues that have more lab and management experience to say something about this.
Jeff, one of the things that Battelle talks about is creativity from within. So tell us a little bit about what you would do.
So it is a good question, and there are restrictions, but there are restrictions in all walks of life. We have to work with the federal government and with Congress to certainly try and help us in some of those constraints, recognizing that it is a government-owned contractor-operated entity, and there are always concerns about competing with the private sector. So we're fully aware of this. We've worked legislative issues, we've worked tech transfer issues for forever, and we've been reasonably successful. But I'd like to also add that there are many other economic impacts that come with innovation. For example, if you build the world's most powerful computer, neutron source, X-ray source, laser, as we have done at 4 of the labs we manage, that attracts huge amounts of capital to the laboratory, huge amounts of small businesses, construction, and so on. So by being innovative in how we bid to become number 1 in technology, because frankly, being number 2 is less interesting. The world out there wants to copy the United States National Lab System. We get calls all the time from other countries wanting to learn how we do it. We should make no mistake, it's a competitive world out there. They look at the United States, they want to be like the United States because the United States economy is very strong because of our technology base. People want to replicate it. So we need to stay ahead in what literally are world races in things like computing, materials analysis, X-ray sources, and these are big billion-dollar facilities. When you win those, that brings a lot of wealth to the community. So it's not just about taking small pieces and taking them out of the lab. It's about winning the big stuff that allows major economic impact as we continue to lead the world in major developments in technology. And I'll just on a side note say, there would have been no question 20 years ago about where the Higgs boson would have been discovered. Been in Texas, and we lost that opportunity. World leadership role, and places like Sandia are the kinds of places that allow us to do that, where you have thousands of smart people working on very, very complicated topics.
Tim, you guys never have to work with the federal government at Boeing, do you?
Yeah, at Boeing, we all have some of these same challenges. How do you unlock the entrepreneurial energy? How do you unlock the intellectual property that sometimes sits with government and sometimes sits internally? In our experience, this idea of tech transfer, as well as creating ecosystems and networks internally and externally, is something that's very important. What you're getting is not the energy and know-how and experience of one enterprise; it's 5 enterprises. And we've already started, for example, Dr. Frank and I have already started sharing some best practices around how you create local community ecosystems, how that works. How does a university work with a local community, work with the lab to create some vibrancy there? It needs to be mindful, though. The saying that we have is don't leave serendipity to chance. Mindfully and thoughtfully. Management practices need to be put in place. Level of strategic clarity and role clarity. Our view towards transparency and integrity. We've got to open up opportunity for all the employees of Sandia. Always the best idea wins. If the idea can get out, it'll attract capital. It'll attract the right incentives from government.
Got time for one more question, and Joseph?
Covered a lot of stories in the last.
Well, absolutely. This has been part of what we at UNM have been working on for 4 years about creating competitive jobs that keep UNM graduates, that give UNM graduates an opportunity to stay in state at great jobs, or opportunities for them to leave the state and come back to a great job. I mean, it's good for New Mexicans to go out of the state for a while and get broadening experience, but what we see too often is they leave the state, want to return home, and there's not a job that they can get. So we want to have these kinds of jobs here in New Mexico that are competitive, that attract college-educated New Mexicans, and we know that there's a dearth of these jobs. So this opportunity, along with several other things we're doing at UNM, are designed to make that happen.
All right, well, we want to invite you, our media, to help us continue this conversation. We're going to have access to these people, and to, of course, you'll always have President Frank here locally, but as we continue and you want to know more about what we're doing and what we'll do for New Mexico and our community, please seek us out, and we'll continue to have those conversations. Also, we have other leaders from the universities and from Boeing and Battelle here in the audience, so if you need additional or would like additional interviews or more comments, they'll be available for a few minutes to speak with you. And would the members of UCAM raise your hands if you're still in the room? Katie will help you find who you need and which organization you need, as I will too. So thank you so much for joining us. We hope you're as stoked about this as we are.
Yeah, that's what we've heard. I think they'll fix it.